ESPN Cleveland video resurfaced of Shedeur Sanders throwing with his eyes closed. That boy Shedeur Sanders had Brittany Renner blushing.
A video of Shedeur Sanders throwing passes with his eyes completely closed just resurfaced, and the internet cannot agree on what it means. Half the comments are calling it genius-level training. The other half are calling it a social media stunt. And while that debate is burning, Sanders just made Brittany Renner blush on camera. Yes, the same Brittany Renner that Coach Prime brought in to warn his players about years ago. These two stories are connected in a way almost nobody is talking about. Stay with me, because this gets good. Let's start with the clip that lit the fuse. ESPN Cleveland dug up footage of Shedeur Sanders in a training session, dropping back, setting his feet, and firing passes with his eyes closed. Not squinting, not peeking, closed. And the timing of this resurfacing could not be juicier because the Browns are sitting in the middle of the most watched quarterback competition in football. Shedeur on one side, Deshaun Watson on the other. Every workout clip that drops right now gets treated like evidence in a trial. And the reactions came in hot. You had fans who never played it down in their lives jumping into comment sections saying this is pointless, saying it makes no sense, saying it's all for the cameras. Then you had Cleveland radio getting in on it. One host on 92.3 The Fan went on air talking about how the quarterbacks are grinding based on social media and how the workout videos tell him the Browns could be in for a big year. And honestly, even other Browns content creators called that segment out as sarcasm, as fake enthusiasm, as a guy who finds a negative in everything suddenly acting thrilled about a workout clip. So now you've got three camps. Camp 1 says the eyes closed throwing is legit elite training. Camp 2 says it's a gimmick built for likes. Camp 3 doesn't even care about the drill. They just think the whole workout video season is media theater designed to hype a quarterback battle. Here's what makes this worth your next 10 minutes. One of these camps is flat out wrong, and I can prove it, because eyes closed throwing is not new, it's not random, and it's definitely not pointless. There is a specific football reason quarterbacks train this way, and it connects directly to the exact weakness critics claim Shedeur had coming out of Colorado: the pocket, the pressure, the moments when you literally cannot see your target, and you have to trust where he's going to be. A former player broke this down better than anyone else covering this story, and once you hear it, the jokes are going to sound real silly. Listen to this explanation, because this is the part the comments section skipped.
As a former player, I'm here to give you guys why he's doing this. For one, when you're throwing a football with your eyes closed, you're training your muscle memory to hit a specific target. For my viewers that learn as we go, as a quarterback, you have to have trust in your wide receiver, knowing he's going to get into a particular spot. Right now, Shedeur Sanders is throwing the football with his eyes closed in a particular area where he knows the wide receiver is supposed to be. So, for an example, if you are in a game, the defensive line all cram the offensive line to the point where you can't see out of the play. For an example, if you're trying to throw a football and you can't see where the wide receiver are, but you know where he's supposed to be, that is what Shedeur Sanders is training, muscle memory. So I hope I actually made sense with you guys when breaking down the reasons of why Shedeur Sanders is doing that crazily.
And if that just rewired how you see that clip, wait until you hear what Shedeur's daily schedule actually looks like. So now you understand the drill. Eyes closed throwing is muscle memory work. A quarterback in a real game does not always get a clean picture. Defensive linemen get their hands up. The pocket collapses. Bodies cross your face at the worst possible moment. And in those moments, you are not throwing to what you see. You are throwing to a spot on the field where your receiver is supposed to be, based on the route, the timing, and thousands of reps. That is anticipation throwing, and it is the single biggest separator between college quarterbacks and NFL quarterbacks. In college, windows stay open. In the NFL, the window is closed by the time you see it open. You have to throw the receiver open. You have to let it go before the break happens. Eyes closed drills are basically anticipation training taken to its extreme. If you can hit a spot blind, hitting it with your eyes open under pressure becomes automatic. And here's the detail that makes this specific to Shedeur. The knock on him coming into the league was that he held the ball too long, that he took sacks waiting to see things develop. So what is he doing this offseason? He is literally training himself to release the football without visual confirmation. He is attacking the exact criticism on his scouting report. That is not content, that is a correction. Now stack that on top of what we already know about his work habits. This man was at the Browns facility back in February before basically anybody else showed up. Todd Monken was reportedly seeing him just walking the hallways between workouts because he was practically living in the building. There were reports of him getting a fourth workout of the day around dinner time. A fourth one. Whether he wins this job or not, nobody in Cleveland can say the preparation isn't there. Even his harshest critics keep landing on the same sentence. He's a hard worker. He doesn't quit. That part of his game has never been in question, from high school to Jackson State to Colorado to now. So the drill is real, the intent behind it is real, and the work ethic behind it is documented. Which brings us back to the people laughing at it. Because while former players were explaining the football logic, Cleveland sports radio decided to turn the whole thing into a comedy bit. And the way one host handled it had other creators calling him flat-out fake. Listen to this, and tell me it doesn't sound like pure sarcasm.
Where Shedeur Sanders was closing his eyes and throwing passes. I mean, chucking passes, eyes closed. Like, this is stuff I'd never seen before, and he had never seen him either because his eyes were closed. Apparently then Deshaun Watson and Concepcion, and he was just throwing darts, and I know Mary Kay said the shoulder was an issue. I saw no evidence on this one throw that they showed that loops, because when you're on social media, it just loops. Just one throw, and you're like, did I see 8 throws? No, it's just one throw. But then I saw Shedeur Sanders, and it was like dinner time, 4th workout of the day. I'm like, 4 workouts? Man, Josh Allen, I don't see any evidence that he even has had 1 workout. And our quarterback has 4? And then, is there even more after that? Is there 5 and 6? Like, these guys, they are on the grind.
Everybody's working out, dude.
That's the tone Cleveland media is using during the biggest quarterback battle in the league. Now let me show you what they should be talking about instead. Here's the part that should genuinely frustrate Browns fans. Local media is treating quarterback workout season like a punchline while sitting on the most valuable storyline in football. Think about the stakes for 1 second. If Shedeur Sanders hits, Cleveland has a starting quarterback on a 5th-round rookie contract. That changes how the entire roster gets built. Every dollar that doesn't go to the quarterback position goes to the offensive line, the secondary, the pass rush. Teams that hit on cheap quarterbacks become juggernauts. That is the actual story. And instead, fans had to watch channels run wall-to-wall LeBron coverage in July while an entire quarterback competition simmered with barely a mention. Even analysts who are not optimistic about Shedeur have started admitting something interesting. On the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, the conversation shifted to a simple question. What if he's just average? Not great, not a superstar, just league-average quarterback play. And the answer from a self-described pessimist was that this roster could win 8 games with that, maybe more, because the talent around the quarterback has been quietly rebuilt. New receivers, a tight end is compared favorably to big names, a raised floor across the offense. Last year's quarterback play gave this team no chance. Average play changes everything. So keep that in your back pocket. The eyes closed clip is not a meme. It is a young quarterback grinding for a job that could reshape a franchise. Now, let's talk about the other Sanders story, because this one is a full circle moment years in the making. Rewind to Colorado. Coach Prime did something almost no college coach would think to do. He sat his entire roster down for a lesson that had nothing to do with football. He brought in Brittany Renner, one of the most famous women on social media, to explain to his players exactly how the game works off the field, why women of her status get in athletes' DMs, what attention really costs, what people want from young men with fame and money. It was blunt, it was uncomfortable, and it was one of the smartest pieces of life coaching any college program has ever put on camera. The whole message boiled down to one warning. everybody wants something. Status attracts status, and you will not know who is really with you until adversity shows up. Deion wasn't trying to scare his players away from relationships. He was teaching them to see the board. Listen to how she broke it down to that room, because this clip is the setup for everything that just happened.
So my name is Brittany Renner, aka Bundle of Brittany on Instagram. I have been on social media for almost...
He took notes all year, but now he wants to.
So a lot of guys who are in my DM, you're in my DM because I'm Brittany Renner. So naturally, if you play a sport, it's kind of like, well, that's an incentive to talk to you. A lot of times, women, men in general, everybody wants something.
Thank you.
Everybody wants something. So it's like, even if we both have our own thing going on, me still being with you is a good look because you boost my stock. Just like you boost my, you know what I'm saying? Like, I boost your stock. It's just that simple. You are useful, and it's better to be useful than useless. So you just have to have that understanding that, okay, I have something to offer, you know, whether that's financial, status-wise, whatever. And people do see that as a bonus to be with you. There's nothing wrong with that because you both of you can have stuff going on.
So years after that warning, guess which Sanders walked right up to that exact line on camera and flipped the whole lesson on its head? Shedeur Sanders, Shedeur's brother, the same Shiloh who sat in that Colorado meeting room and took the lesson in. Fast forward to now, Brittany Renner is live on stream, and a donation with subs comes through from a verified account. She reads the name out loud, Shedeur Sanders, and the reaction is instant. She stops, she does a double take, and then she's grinning ear to ear, visibly blushing on camera. The woman who spent years explaining how unbothered she is by athletes in her DMs got caught smiling like a teenager the second Sanders showed up in her chat. And here's why this moment is bigger than a laugh. Shiloh doesn't even play football anymore. His NFL window closed, and it did not matter one bit. He is still winning. He is building a real career on YouTube, pulling numbers, staying relevant, and moving through the internet with the exact confidence his father drilled into him. That is the part people miss about the Sanders family. Prime didn't just raise athletes, he raised brands. He raised young men who understand attention as an asset. Shedeur monetized it into the biggest rookie licensing haul the NFL has ever seen. Shiloh monetized it into a media career that survives without a roster spot. Now put the two stories from this video side by side because they are the same story. On one screen, you have Shedeur throwing passes with his eyes closed, getting mocked by people who never played, quietly fixing the one flaw scouts hung on him. On the other screen, you have Shiloh charming the exact person his father brought in as a cautionary tale and doing it so smoothly she blushed on a live broadcast. Discipline on one side, charisma on the other. Both of them operate with total confidence while the internet argues about whether any of it is real. That is the Sanders effect. They don't chase the conversation, they are the conversation. Cleveland radio can be as sarcastic as it wants about workout clips. Comment sections can crack jokes about blind passes. None of it changes the two facts sitting in plain sight. One brother is outworking everybody in the building during a quarterback battle worth a franchise's future. The other brother is proof that the family wins even when football ends. And the woman who taught the room how the game is played just showed everybody that even she is not immune to it. Watch this reaction one more time, because her face tells you everything about how far this family's name travels.
That boy Shedeur Sanders had Brittany Renner blushing. She saw that blue check that she broke down with them years ago about what she sees when a player of his status DMs her. So Shedeur Sanders doesn't play football anymore, and he still has some success. He doesn't have to play football to be successful. I mean, he's still doing his thing through YouTube. He's still doing his thing everyday life. I mean, he's still a Sanders at the end of the day. And so I found that very hilarious, man. Shout out to Shedeur Sanders. Have fun for me.
One family, two brothers, two completely different wins in the same week. Let's put a bow on this. So let's recap what actually happened here, because the jokes buried the real story. A training clip of Shedeur Sanders throwing with his eyes closed resurfaced, and people who never played the position called it pointless. Then a former player explained what it really is: muscle memory training, anticipation training, learning to deliver the ball to a spot when the pocket collapses and you cannot see your man. It directly targets the biggest criticism on Shedeur's scouting report, which was holding the ball waiting for things to come open. Behind that clip is a documented pattern. In the building in February, multiple workouts a day, a quarterback treating a fifth-round contract like a first overall pick's obligation. And the stakes are enormous because analysts in Cleveland are already admitting that average quarterback play could make this team a winner with the talent that's been added around the position. Meanwhile, the family kept being the family. Years after Coach Prime brought Brittany Renner in to school his players on how fame really works, Shedeur Sanders popped up in her stream and had her blushing on camera. No roster, no contract, still undefeated. The lesson from that Colorado meeting room came full circle in the funniest way possible. 2 clips, 2 brothers, one name that refuses to leave the timeline, and a media market that would rather be sarcastic than tell you any of this straight. Here's where I land. The eyes closed during the throwing session is exactly what a young quarterback should be doing in July, and the fact that it became a joke tells you more about the people laughing than the player training. Shedeur is preparing like the job is his to take, and Shiloh just reminded everybody that the Sanders name carries weight far beyond a football field, all the way into the chat of the one woman who wrote the book on not being impressed. So now I want to hear from you. The eyes closed during the throwing session. Is it genius preparation that fixes his biggest flaw, or is it just a gimmick for the timeline? Genius or gimmick? Drop your answer in the comments right now, because I read every single one and I want to know where this audience stands. Smash like and subscribe.